Hi everyone, this is Melike Hemmami. I'm going to be presenting together with Ted today.
Good morning.
So I'm a new addition. Good evening, good morning, considering the time changes. Today we are talking about profiling farmers. The outline of our presentation is going to be explaining about the tool, how you can use it, why it's useful to do it. What can you do to collect information? What are the things that you have to be careful about? And then some examples on how you can use them to give farmers a face.
So we are going to zoom in on farmers, because it's farmers we work with and we work for. We hope that you all have made progress with your case description, so we are really going to focus on the farmers this time.
This tool is important because we need to know farmers. We need to know the picture, the story of the farmers beyond the general one that everybody would know. So we need to know the farmers that have a vision, that do incredible things to be able to generate a decent livelihood for their families. We want to know stories about farmers who are supporting the economy of our country, but also globally. We want to know about the farmers who are actually feeding the cities, the world, and why they are important that they continue farming. And farmer profiling helps us to find these stories and then share it with a wider audience to highlight the importance of farmers, but also inclusive agribusiness development.
So, farmer profiles. It's a type of a story focusing on the farmers, and you have to raise attention of the readers for those farmers, because farmers don't get enough information. So a farmer profile is a story on an individual farmer or a family households, and you write it in the he, she, or the name of the farmer type of style. It can also be presented in the first person, I or we, and then the article is like, because it's about writing a short article, it's like a personal story of the farmer told by him or herself. And a combination is possible, and please put in quotes as much as possible, we come back to that. Life histories are slightly different. It's also a story about the farm, but there we use a longer time frame. You look at the past 5 to 15 years or so, and then the story is about what changed in the family farm, what changed in the life of the farmer, male or female you're talking about. So this is more about what is changing and also how farmers are coping with change.
Which is very important, because if you want to bring about change in a specific context, you need to know how they react or approach change in the past, so that you can develop the best intervention possible for success. And what to do? There are do's and don'ts while trying to develop a farmer profile. For the do's, just go there, be there, and give them the time, give them the respect while they tell you your stories. Prepare to be able to do that. Be prepared. Have a kind of framework where you can have questions already, information that you want to ask. What kind of information do you want to take out from the farmers you are interviewing? Be prepared, and we have the annexes to help you with. Undertake the interview in a place where your interviewee feels comfortable. So go to their place, to the environment where they will just let it go and tell you much more about themselves than them coming in a place where they are not going to feel comfortable. Make it an informal, nice conversation, and not like a rigid questionnaire and trying to take answers from it. Probe and be politely curious. Be alert to sensitive issues that the farmer might not be ready to tell about. Don't push it. Visit the surrounding, the community the farmer you are interviewing is living, their field and the sites that they are working in. And stay in the village, share the same food with farmers, so that you are more accustomed in the environment where they operate and the context they operate. The don'ts, I said it a bit, don't make it like a questionnaire, like you are help me, interrogating your interviewee. Don't hit and run, like just go get an answer to your questions and then leave without giving the time to try to know them, but the time to also show that you are really willing to learn and understand their context. Don't discuss and give opinions. For that example would be, you might be told on how a specific application is done on a specific topic. Avoid to try to say, no, you shouldn't do it like that, this is how you should do it. This is not why you are there to understand how they operate, so try not to push what your knowledge to the interviewee. And please be careful about the cultural codes of the place you are going. That can be, and as an example, the dressing. Go dressed appropriately so that it doesn't block the communication you are having with your farmer.
Mm-hmm. So the key thing is be there, stay there, be interested. That's the most important thing. Then you have spent some time in the community with the farmers. You've asked many polite questions, you've probed further, so you get a lot of information. So this tool is about how to get this story out. For that one we have some suggestions. Keep it short, because you want your readers to read it fully. So we suggest as an ideal length of your story 300 to 500 words, with pictures that might be 1.5 page, something like that. Keep it simple. Don't try to write a scientific article, so avoid difficult words. Write short paragraphs, put a clear heading above each paragraph. Focus on the activities that farmers do, the results they obtained, the reflections they have, decisions they made, and the strategies they adopted. And also open, brackets, that's the word. Sorry guys, our English is also our second language, so sometimes we are looking for words. Open brackets and give quotes of the farmers, so literally what the farmers told you. And give also here and there some quantitative information, how many hectares are farmed in the community or in the district, what's the production, what are prices, to beef up the story a bit.
Or how many farmers are cultivating the same crops of the farmers you are interviewing.
Then pictures. People like to see pictures, and we like people to read the stories about farmers. But for the use of pictures, there are some do's and don'ts as well. An important do is ask permission before making pictures. I think that's a kind of politeness in general.
That's also an example for the culture code that we were referring to a slide ago.
And since the story is on specific individual farmers or specific households, try to have a portrait of the farmer or the farmer household, of course if they agree with it. Show farmers in action, like on this picture, planting rice, I think it is, in relation to the story you will tell. Use a good resolution on your phone. We have the experience that with phones you can make very good pictures, but use the best resolution that you have. And have at least one picture per page, and maybe even more. And give a kind of caption information. When was the picture taken, what is it showing, who's the person. So give the information about the picture that you integrate in your story.
And if you didn't take the picture, make sure you acknowledge the person or organization who took the picture. The aim of the tool is, like we explained at the beginning, to try to give the farmers a face, try to understand the context they operate, but then to share their stories with a wider audience. To get into the shoes of farmers, to see the realities from their own perspective, which is why we don't bring in our opinion about it. The tool is to encourage you to really get to know individual farmers and their households, livelihoods, achievements, challenges and ambitions. You can generate 3 outputs: the farmer profile, which you will find also in the website, farmer life histories and farmer Facebooks. When to use it? You can use it anytime, because if you want to develop any intervention for a rural development objective or nature conservation objective, that doesn't really matter. This will only help you to get the most of the data that will help you to have a more successful intervention or strategies developed for specific contexts. It can be specifically used for different purposes, like for consulting the farmers to get to know their opinion on a specific topic, to design programs, like in the next tool that you will see, the Capital Pentagon, for management and evaluation of your own projects, to just communicate with farmers because you have to work with them, for lobby and advocacy if you are a farmer organization that wants to take the story of your members up to the government level. To whom, for whom and why, for anybody that is interested to know about farmers, and to use it for farmer inclusive development purposes. Because millions of farmers are feeding the world. It's important that we take the message across to tell how they do it and in what context.
So giving farmers a face, seeing the realities from their perspective is really essential in the OPPO approach that we are sharing with you. We said there are 3 outputs possible. The farmer profiles we mentioned, the farmer life histories we mentioned, but also a third one, which is maybe funny to you. We call it the farmer's Facebook. It's not Zuckerberg Facebook that you are all using, it's really the OPPO farmer's Facebook. So give a face to the diversity of farmers, even in the same situation. Here we have pictures of farmers somewhere from Africa. This is from Palestine, close to Israel, maybe you know. There are so many visions. This was used in the context of policy development, so we gave faces to many different farmers in Palestine, which is a very tiny country.
And even in these pictures you can see the diversity on how agriculture is done. Like for the youth one, you can see that they start to use these small serres that are not necessarily used in many places, so you can have an idea on how programs are developed. Go on.
So the farmer Facebook is a collection of several farmer profiles or life stories, and then it shows a more representative picture, maybe of an island, of a certain sector like horticulture or taro farming. And if you have many different stories, you can even analyze the recurrent things that farmers are mentioning all the time. So you can use it also for analytical purposes. And also you can make an explicit effort to capture the diversity of farms and farmers by having young farmers, older farmers, female farmers, male farmers, northern part, southern part of the district, etc. So that means some sampling, I mentioned already, some of the elements, so you can make a real good sample of farmers. Our experience is that even with 10 to 20 stories, you can really show the diversity of the farmer community in your situation.
And having different stories can also help you to cross-triangulate, to triangulate your data, to try to see whether there are things that you need to dig in further to get better insight about a specific context.
So we hope that we are going to make you very much interested in this tool, and that we have many different farmer profiles, and that together as a community we are making the farmers Facebook for Pacific Islands. So here an example.
An example of your farmers, sorry. Please read the tool. Please develop your own farmer profiles and share it with us, so that we have the opportunity to give you feedback and maybe ask questions, so that we get to know also more the Pacific farmers, but also your fellow colleagues can know more about the specific context you might have.
So this is a tool we prepared, and please read it through. Like we said, and we only shortly alluded to it, there's an annex with a lot of questions that you can potentially ask, so be inspired by the tool, and we hope that you really make the effort to stay in the communities, talk with farmers, eat with them, maybe stay over the night, because then you really get the confidence of farmers to tell you the full story.
And you start to build trust, because you do give the time that is necessary to get to know each other. It's not only about knowing the farmer, but it's about the farmer also knowing you, the person who comes and tries to work with them.
And by doing so you will learn a lot, and for sure you're going to discover very many new things. So I think that's our story. We wish you a lot of success.
Yes, and we are looking forward to see you in our next video. Good evening, good morning, Pacific.
Bye bye.